the a-hole for not allowing my daughter to significantly alter my wedding dress? My 44 female daughter, 25 female, is getting married later this year to her girlfriend, 27 female. Okay, so it's your wedding dress that she wants to wear. Got it. I've always dreamed of walking her down the aisle. My husband passed when she was a child, and she enjoyed talking about a future wedding and playing bride when she was a child, picking flowers and colors and venues. She loved watching the videos of my wedding and seeing me and her father get married, and it was important in our bonding. When she was 13, I promised her my wedding dress. I want to know like what the wedding dress looks like, because if I'm talking about my mom's wedding dress, there is no way in hell I would wear that wedding dress as is. It looked beautiful on her, but it was so unbelievably 80s. It was gold, first of all. She had a gold wedding dress. I always thought it would be nice to find a way to like incorporate like a piece of it or something. The big sleeves and the fabric was so unbelievably 80s, I could not wear it as is. So I'm curious if your wedding dress was really out of date or not. However, her clothing style is more manly. She began refusing to wear dresses or skirts when she was in her late teens, even trying to demand her school allow her to wear trousers. And it was difficult convincing her to wear dresses to formal events. She's gone through phases of wanting short hair, wanting to be a boy, and getting tattoos. I've always been very supportive of all of this, even when she met her girlfriend and proposed to her. I've encouraged her as much as I can. I am contributing significantly to the wedding.
Get to the point.
So what does she want to do? She wanted to turn it into pants? What does she want to do to it? I recently called and asked her when she wanted me to bring over the dress, as it would need slight alterations, and she dropped the bombshell on me that she wanted to wear a suit and have my wedding dress altered to remove the skirt portion so that the bodice could be worn without trousers. Yeah, that is a significant change. You won't have your wedding dress. The thing is you did promise her that she would be able to wear it. So, I mean, that's kind of your first problem, but that's a normal thing for like a mom to do. They offer, you know, their daughter to wear, you know, a keepsake or like family heirloom for the wedding, something their mothers wore, their grandmothers wore, etc., etc.
This is the way.
At first I agreed. Okay, there's another problem. But dragged my feet bringing the dress over. I guess you needed some time to mull it over. After a few weeks, I changed my mind and told her that the dress was important to me and I didn't want her to ruin it. I feel like you felt a little pressured into giving her the dress because you did promise her, but I feel like I wish you said that you were a little uncomfortable with her changing it to that degree sooner. When I promised her the dress, it was because I thought she would wear it as a dress, and she will only get to wear it if it is a dress. I offered her that her girlfriend could wear it as a dress instead, but my daughter said that that would still be ruining it. Her girlfriend is a much larger woman than me, so it would need more altering, and has since not been answering my messages except with saying that the dress would be a connection to her dad, so she's disappointed to not have it. I offered to go dress shopping with her for a replacement, but apparently some of our family think I'm stopping her having the dress because I disagree with her being masculine. Am I the a-hole for telling her she can have it as a dress or not have it at all? I may be the a-hole because I promised it to her, yeah, but again, that's kind of something that moms do, you know, like they do promise those things. And realistically, she would have had to alter it either way. What happens if she was a different size? But that was when she was very young and before I knew she wanted to change it. I feel like you are fair in not wanting her to change your dress. I feel like that's a fair thing if you wanted to keep your dress as a keepsake or whatever. I don't think that you should have promised it to her the second time once you knew that she wanted to change the dress. Also, probably been a little more understanding of the fact that she probably would have had to change it anyway. But let's see what Reddit had to say.
This should be good.
Not the a-hole. You offered to lend or let her use your dress, not tear it apart in a way that destroys it forever. This dress is yours with living, breathing memories attached to it. If it can't be returned to you in its original state, then no, you are not the a-hole for changing your mind about this. You might need to ask a professional seamstress about what is possible. I'm sure you have other possessions that actually belong to her dad. That's a good point. I'm sure that he had something else, something that he wore to your wedding that she could wear instead. She may be able to incorporate one of them or recreate your bouquet, cake, or something similar if that connection is what she is seeking. If we're going by what she said in this post, she said she promised her my wedding dress. It kind of implies that you would give it to her. Just saying. I see what this commenter is saying, that you would lend it to her, but that's not what she said in the post. You know what I'm saying? Or since the daughter likes to dress more masculine, why not wear something of her dad's that would be even more of a direct connection than the dress? Agreed. I'm failing to understand why your wedding dress is a connection to her dad. If that's what's important, I feel like there's something that she could use that would be a better option, unless that's just an excuse. Take a bit of fabric from the skirt and use it as a pocket square for her wedding suit. There you go. That's a good option. I've always thought about taking a little piece of my mom's dress, using it as like a garter or something, or like something to wrap the bouquet with. But you're not going to be carrying the bouquet, are you? Not the a-hole. She lost her father, but you also lost her husband, and it makes complete sense that you're sentimental about this dress and don't want it altered beyond recognition. I agree with this. This is totally fair. Parents don't need to give every part of themselves to their children. You are allowed your own feelings and needs, and wanting to preserve the dress you married your late husband in is totally valid. You made that promise in good faith, and I'm sure would honor it if it didn't mean completely changing this memento. I'm gonna go with what Reddit said on this. Not the a-hole. But I think maybe you could have chosen your words a little better. That's all I'm gonna say. Update. Ooh, interesting. I recently posted about my daughter surprising me by wanting to turn my wedding dress into a suit, which I refused despite having promised her because the reality hurt me. I was upset, and it made me feel better to see people agree with me, but the comments that made me upset made me think the most about the future and helped me empathize with my daughter. My daughter came over tonight and apologized for ignoring me and explained that she always thought she'd been promised she could have the dress to own rather than borrow. So she was sad to have lost that dream. This is my thing. She thought that she was gonna be given the dress. That's why it's like a little wishy-washy for me. I apologize for it if I had ever come off as non-supportive of her, as many comments said I sounded homophobic, and that I wanted to be clear that I'm not. I respect and love my daughter. We talked about many things, especially my husband, how his presence could still be felt on the day, how my daughter felt jealous that her fiance would get to share the day with both of her parents while she only has a memory. We watched the wedding video again, it's been a few years, and cried a bit. We also had some wine, so I apologize if this is not completely clear.
I'm very drunk and a little nauseous.
Love a good drunk Reddit spill. I told her I hadn't realized how much giving the dress up would hurt, and that I didn't think I could completely sacrifice it. Fair. I'm glad you guys talked about it, and that I would talk to a tailor about it if the dress could be separated and put back together and returned to me. But if not, then I would help her to find a suit as an alternative and give her some of the dress's lining to use in it. That's a good compromise, I think. I also surprised her with her father's wedding cufflinks to wear. Great! Love that. As suggested by many commenters, and my veil in case her fiance wanted to wear it. And she was extremely happy with this as a compromise. She asked if she could try the dress on just to see what it would be like. I will admit, I was hoping she would change her mind once she had it on. She let me do her hair and makeup however I felt like. She was laughing so hard because it reminded her of when I did her braids for school. She picked out things for me to wear too in her style just to see how I would look, and we took pictures together and danced. She looked beautiful in the dress. It was like I had always dreamed when she was my little girl, but she didn't look like herself. Oh, that's sweet. Oh. Suddenly I knew a lot of you had been right. I hugged her and apologized and told her to take it and do whatever she wants. She's gone home now, and some parts of me regret giving it to her. I've been very teary putting away the photos, but more than that, I'm thankful I got to see what I thought would happen and realize it wasn't right, and that I can say goodbye to the expectations I had for so long. My daughter is happy as herself, and it is an honor that she wants to share it with me. I can tell you're a little buzzed in this, babes. Oh, that is so sweet. I completely empathize with the mother not wanting to see her dress change entirely. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I just think that you can't really push your style or your expectations onto your kids.
Says who?
For example, me, my mom offered me her wedding dress, but I can't see myself ever wearing it as is. It's really just not my style. It was 80s, for Christ's sakes. There is no way I would wear it the way that it is. Do we see this gold dress? It is gold! She looks stunning in it. Like, honestly, she looks like a princess, but it's so 80s. There's no way. There's no way. Don't think of it as memories being altered along with the dress. Think of it as a family memento with even more happy memories attached to it being passed down. Mementos are what you make them. You did the right thing. But I think it's beautiful that you did that. I mean, realistically, your dress is gonna stay in your closet. You're gonna look at it like what? Maybe once every 5 years or something. Maybe put it on once in a while. Is it really that important? It's just a thing, you know? It might be important to some people, but I think you made the right decision in giving it to your daughter. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she has to understand that choosing this wedding date would result in my family not going? 2-ish years ago, my brother, my nephew, and my mother were in a car accident. My mother died instantly. Oh, that's so sad. My brother and nephew passed away the next day. Oh, that is horrific. My family was small. Me, my husband, daughter, parents, brother, wife, and 2 nephews. Their loss was devastating for my life and for everyone, even worse for my father and my sister-in-law. 1 year ago, my daughter, Betty, 25 female, was proposed by her fiance and preparations began. During this process, they chose the date, and based on the day they met, added 7 years ago, that day is exactly 2 years since the death of my brother and nephew. Oh, interesting. I tried to talk to her about moving it because it is still a very difficult date for our family and even for myself, but she insisted, saying the venue had that date available and it would be perfect because all the other available dates aren't so good and wouldn't be so important. I respected her decision. That's a tough one. Recently, she sent the invitations to everyone as I predicted. My sister-in-law, my nephew, and my father responded that they would not attend. And despite not telling her, my father and sister-in-law told me that date choice was a sound offense to them. And they have every right to feel that way. Honestly, it's not like it's been a long time. It's been 2 years. I think it would be rather hard to celebrate someone else's happy day when it's a day that's just so dark and sad. And it's interesting when dates like that come about. It's almost like your body just sort of remembers, even if you don't exactly know why. And like for some reason, you're just sad and you can't explain it. And then you realize like, oh, this is like the date that my grandfather died. It's interesting how that happens. I decided to remain neutral and I confirmed my presence and my husband. Today, my daughter called me unhappy that no one but us confirmed. My husband doesn't have family on his side, and her family part was empty and she expected everyone to go on that date. Even more so after she explained the reason to them about the date, but they still refused. I feel like she's being a little bit inconsiderate of your feelings, to be honest. Like it's also her family that passed away on this date. I tried to be supportive, but I said, love, this date is difficult even for me, but I will go to your wedding. But you have to understand that this choice of date has this consequence, and you would have to deal with the consequences of your choices. She exploded at me, saying that everyone is against her. It's not her fault the dates coincided, and everyone could make an effort to go for a few hours for her. But they decided just not to go, and I was basically saying, I told you so. I mean, there were other dates. It's not like this was the only date for like a year. There were other dates. You told her in advance. I don't know. I feel like in this scenario, she's got to be a little more understanding than she's being. She hung up with me without answering, and we still haven't spoken. My husband said he understands me, but I should have stayed away from it. Am I the a-hole? I feel like you're trying to communicate to her how devastating this was, and she's kind of only thinking about herself. This is the thing with people and their friggin' weddings. Just because you're getting married, that does not mean that everybody has to put their lives on hold because it's your wedding. I know it's like you get the one day, right? Oh, it's her wedding, it's her wedding, it's his wedding, it's his wedding. And it's like, yeah, okay, but like to a certain extent. We don't just automatically become your bitch if you're getting married. I'll become the bitch, but I will make it known that I don't appreciate being the bitch. I feel like your daughter is somewhat being an a-hole. I feel like she's not really considering the fact that this date has some pretty sad, pretty significant sad memories attached to it. And it is somewhat insulting to your family to assume that they would be down to celebrate on that day. Especially because of how little time has passed. She's being a bit of a bridezilla, I'm not gonna lie. Not the a-hole. I mean, you told her exactly why this would happen and she didn't listen. I think she was more upset in front of you than at you, if that makes sense. She's venting, but also kind of thoughtless to think that everyone would just swallow their grief to watch her get married on a really painful anniversary. This is the thing. Although getting married is the most important thing for you, it is not for everybody else. I'm a bit shocked that the daughter had no pain associated with that date. Yeah, I'm confused about that too. Like, why do we want to celebrate on a day that's so sad, where multiple family members died? That's weird to me.
Sociopaths get shit done, Fab.
That was her grandmother, uncle, and cousin, and only 2 years ago, sort of heartless. I agree. Not a lot of empathy going on. I'm wondering if it does hurt her and she's just trying to change that specific date into something good. Could be, but she didn't really articulate that. So I think that we do need to observe these dates and respect them, especially when they're fresh. The thing is, no one but her and her husband and maybe their parents are going to remember their wedding date in 5 years, but they will never forget the date they lost their loved ones. Losing a loved one, no less 3 of them, I feel like is a lot more significant than someone getting married. You are not the a-hole, my dear. You might need to tell your daughter she's being a bit of a bridezilla. And I disagree with your husband. This whole like stay out of it thing, I think that we do need to be telling people when they're being really, really inconsiderate. Because how else are they ever gonna know?
By force.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to follow my sister-in-law's rules for her wedding and saying her insecurities aren't my fault? Not a fan of telling people that they're insecure, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now. My female 27 brother, male 34, and his fiance, female 31, are getting married real soon. My husband and I got our invitation, all fine. However, this is the problem that I'm having with them. I'm not a bridesmaid or in the bridal party because I have a baby. I was either pregnant with a newborn during most of the wedding planning. It was for the best. So I'm just a regular guest as everyone else, right? Well, my brother and his fiance came over a few days after they sent the invitations because they wanted to talk to me. My future sister-in-law basically told me she's gotten a dress for me and she'll love for me to wear it to the wedding. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Thanks, but why? You know? Was it ugly or something? Did she make you wear a paper bag? At first, she didn't want to tell me why they've chosen the dress for me, but finally she told me that I tend to draw too much attention to me. So you're prettier than her. Am I understanding that correctly? Last year, our older brother got married and my future sister-in-law thinks that she doesn't want to risk having me show up similarly to their wedding. By the way, I wasn't wearing an inappropriate dress or white or anything like that. I was wearing a normal formal dress. Okay, so you're like literally just pretty. I was confused by all of this and I asked what she meant because, as I said, I know how to dress up for a wedding. I reassured her she wouldn't have to worry about being outshined because, for starters, it's her wedding day and everyone will be paying attention to the bride and groom. And secondly, I won't wear an inappropriate dress with like too much cleavage or something. Her family's rather conservative, so I thought maybe she was more scared of her family's reactions. Oh God. We discussed this for a while and she told me that the problem is my weight. She's a little overweight and I'm not. Always had problems gaining weight even while pregnant. So she feels insecure. And that's why she wants me to wear a dress that would cover me completely? Oh, absolutely not. That is f***ing insane. You are so delulu, dude. Wow. This is where I think I might be the a-hole. I told her that her insecurities were not my problem. Normally, I'm not really a fan of that statement, but I think the way that you've described it, I think that that was a fair response. And that it was weird to ask me to wear a certain dress just because I'm skinnier than her. Agreed. That's not an a-hole thing to say. If anyone's being an a-hole, it's her. She told me she knew I'd have this reaction because supposedly I'd always want to be the focus of attention. Is your attention always on her or does she always want to be the focus of attention? To the bride, you're sounding like a secondary character in your own story, babes. She also said that my life has always been easier and it's not fair I want to steal her wedding day as well.
What the f are you talking about?
Oh God. I asked her if she was doing this with every other woman who was skinnier attending the wedding and she said no, so I told her that's the shitty move. She's jealous of you. I find it strange that she talked to you about it in this way. It sucks feeling insecure next to somebody else. It does suck having those insecurities and not feeling beautiful on your wedding day. I empathize with that, but like the wedding day hasn't even happened yet and she's already feeling insecure. Why invite you at all? Well, they're family, so they kind of have to be invited, but I wouldn't go. I like literally wouldn't go.
So we're not going to the wedding.
We argued that my husband and brother got between us, so they argued as well, and finally we kicked them out. But not before I told them to enjoy their damn day because I wasn't attending the wedding. I'm not going to attend a wedding where somebody wants to like literally cover me from head to toe. The veil of shame.
Shame.
That is up. And they accuse me of being a drama queen and wanting to embarrass them by not going. But you want to embarrass her by making her wear a dress that she doesn't look good in. Well, I'm more calm, and this has caused quite a fight in our family as well. I admit that I was so tired and stressed that day because my baby had been sick the prior day and night. So I don't know, do you think I exaggerated here, or were they truly rude to ask me something like this? Yeah, they were not only rude, but like delusional. Guess what? In life, there's gonna be people that are way better looking than you. And it's easy to make those people the villain and blame them for all our problems. However, those people can't help the way that they look. And expecting them to look ugly so that you look better is so delulu, man. I don't care if you get married. I don't care if you're the Queen of England. Rest her soul. If someone tells me that they only want me at their wedding if I look like shit, I am not going. If you're so worried about someone upstaging you, then that person just shouldn't go in general. Or you need to get the f over it. Not the a-hole. I agree with your decision not to attend the wedding. Sister sister-in-law can give any explanation she wants for why you're not there, but I would definitely answer honestly if anyone asked you why you didn't attend. It's interesting that they were worried about being embarrassed that you're not there, and it's like, this is so embarrassing. Like, how are you not embarrassed asking someone to do that? I would get ahead of the story and tell your parents and close family exactly what happened so they don't poison the well. The truth is, the girl probably knows how ridiculous this is deep down and would never tell the truth about the situation, because it is ridiculous. There is no way that like a coherent person wouldn't think this is ridiculous. Am I the a-hole for wearing white to my blind cousin's wedding? Was everyone else blind too? Woman wants to know if she's wrong for wearing white to her blind cousin's wedding. So this post actually did end up being deleted on Reddit, but we have an article here that describes what happened. I'd like to start by saying that me and my female cousin, blind from birth, aren't very close, but we get along well as relatives. She's 26 and her wedding was last week. She sent me an invitation, though we don't talk much, but since I wanted a break from work, I decided to go. My favorite color is white. Not a color, but okay.
This is a shade.
I have brown skin, love wearing white because it brings out my skin glow and makes me feel comfortable and confident. There's lots of other colors that do that too, sweetie, but okay. I purchased a maxi white dress. Nothing fancy, but goes well with my skin tone, and wore it at the wedding. There wasn't a big party with many guests, but sort of family dinner and a small celebration. I really thought no one would even notice I was wearing white.
It's a wedding!
My cousin and her husband didn't know because obviously no one told them. I'm guessing that the husband was also blind. But my aunt kept giving me uncomfortable looks the entire evening, and so did my other cousin. Once I decided to leave, my aunt pulled me aside and berated me for wearing this color at her daughter's wedding. She said just because her daughter is blind doesn't mean she's stupid and doesn't know what's going on around her. Basically saying I brought negative energy and disturbed the celebration by having guests notice, and by extension, my cousin as well. She gave a lengthy lecture and asked if I hate to see her daughter happy and whether I pulled this stunt because my blind cousin got married before me. Oh, that's a little spicy, isn't it? I was like, whoa, calm down. None of this was true. I just wore my favorite color and didn't do it because my cousin is blind and wouldn't notice. And married before me? I never thought of that. I argued with my aunt for trying to dictate what I wear, but she defended herself saying that I was a guest and should have respected the bride. I mean, she's got a point, you know what I mean? It's, that's kind of like a goes without saying sort of thing. It doesn't really matter if she's blind or not, in my opinion. I left feeling very upset and exhausted from that encounter. Oh, poor you!
Poor you.
Having to deal with the consequences of your actions. I'm so sorry. My boyfriend said he believed that I used the fact that my cousin is blind to wear white, but this didn't fly with her family. He pulled the I told you so line and said I just made my family hate me with that stunt. Even though he knows I always wear white, but he warned me that if my cousin finds out, there's going to be some issues. He suggested I get ready to apologize, but I really see no reason to apologize, since I chose to wear a comfortable color that I feel confident in.
It's a wedding!
And oh, well, as long as you feel confident, sweetheart, that's what really matters. So she wants to know, am I the a-hole for wearing white at my blind cousin's wedding? Abso-frickin-lutely you are. You sound super self-absorbed, dude. Is it possible for you to care about someone other than yourself?
No.
All right. I personally think you're an a-hole. But let's see what Reddit had to say. Why are you even asking this? You're fully aware that only a-holes wear white to weddings. The fact that you did this at a blind person's wedding is just additional fuel to the a-hole fire. Get over yourself. How you look at their wedding only matters to you. Hard, you're the a-hole. Oh, that's a hard one, eh? A hard one. Hard a-hole. I like that. You're a hard a-hole. Ooh. Okay. You're the a-hole. Me is all I read. F off to the bride and her feelings. I'm like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you actually sound like you couldn't possibly consider someone else's feelings. What matters most to you is what color you look good in. You're the a-hole. I don't give a crap if the bride can't see, hear, talk, and walk all at once. You don't wear white to a wedding unless you are the bride or the bride asks you to. Edit to add the fact that you have to specifically mention she's blind, knows you know it's not cool to wear white to a wedding, but you thought it would be okay since she can't see it! That's so true. That's literally, you're literally contradicting yourself with that title. The title is, Am I the A-hole for wearing white to my blind cousin's wedding? Clearly you considered the fact that she was blind and thought it made a difference. You're the a-hole. White brings out my skin tone. It's a wedding. There's other colors. You can suck it up for a night. Whether it was intentional or not, you should have known better, especially with a white maxi dress, which, oh wait, a lot of people actually use in places of traditional wedding dresses. You can't be this dense, can you? Yes, you're the a-hole. You never wear white to a wedding. I don't care if you think it looked best with your skin tone. White clearly can't be the only color that does. That's what I'm saying. I look really good in white. I look good in white, all right? I even hung out with my friend that's getting married. Like, I went to her engagement party, 2 engagement parties actually. Didn't wear white, even though I kind of wanted to. It's like, can I wear white to an engagement party? No, you also probably can't wear white to an engagement party. And then we went out for dinner with the bride and the groom. And like, for a second there, I was like, can I wear white? At a dinner. I think I probably can. If it's not a wedding event, you can wear white. Are you for real? You're the a-hole for believing that she would never find out. Yeah, like, you're just dumb at this point. Like, really?
Don't act dumb. Don't act dumb.
You knew it was wrong and did it anyway. Good on your aunt. You really need to take what she's saying to heart and then spin it like she's trying to dictate what you can and cannot wear. Have some self-respect and common decency and apologize. The least you can do is apologize at this point. Mostly want to work in on this line. Since I wanted a break from work, I decided to go. You're entitled and seriously self-focused in this post. You're the a-hole.
Oh yeah, I just like, I was like, I had nothing better to do, so I guess I just went. And I thought it would be nice to just wear white. Like, what harm could it do?
All right, it's settled. You're the a-hole. A hard a-hole. Cool, cool, cool. Glad we are in agreement. Woman gets tricked by the bride into wearing white to her wedding, and oh boy. Ooh, okay, that's a different take. Am I the a-hole for wearing a white dress to my friend's wedding? I can't believe I'm using this Reddit account for another wedding-related issue. I, 20 female, met my friend Charlotte.
That's my name. That's my name.
That's kind of spooky. When I moved into my college dorm in August of 2020, we got along well, shared ideas for how we wanted to divide space and kept things clean and organized, and had many similar interests. Within a month, we were studying and hanging out together, and I considered her a good friend. I also met her now husband, Josh. They seemed like a cute and loving couple, and I was very happy when they got engaged in Christmas of 2020, after 3.5 years together. Charlotte has spent, this is so weird. Charlotte has spent the last 18 months planning this wedding down to the last detail. I won't say she's obsessive, but it's been intense, and I've tried to help her as best I can with making appointments, managing stress. I also gave her $250 to help pay for the wedding. Her family can only afford part of it, which isn't included in the wedding gift I'm gonna give her. Okay, sounds very nice of you. That's very nice. A month before the wedding, I was still trying to decide exactly what to wear. I wanted something nice because Charlotte, I'm well aware there are other people named Charlotte in the world. Because she said she would have a photographer, videographer, and a wedding painter. I knew Charlotte had a vision for her wedding, and I wanted her as in control as possible for all the details of her special day. So I asked her which dress out of the 3 I'd narrowed it down to that I should wear. She asks if I would pull out all my dresses, so I did. She ended up narrowing it down to one of my picks, along with a dress I had put firmly in the no pile for being white. It was a wedding, after all. I'm glad some people are aware of this very clear rule. She told me both dresses were lovely, but she prefers the white one. I asked if she was sure. She said yes, and even picked out a pair of pink and white heels from her closet to go with my dress. I figured that was that. Fast forward to last week, I show up in the dress about a half hour before the ceremony. I get some weird looks, but no one says anything. In hindsight, this is when I should have realized something wasn't right. When Charlotte comes out of her dressing room for some last minute pictures, she looks shocked to see me. And then she starts turning red. She pulls me aside and starts going off on me immediately about wearing the dress to her wedding. What? I'm stunned. I asked her what the problem is because she picked out the dress. And she told me it was a friendship test. What the are you kidding me? And if we were real friends, I wouldn't have worn a white dress or her shoes to her wedding. I started laughing because I honestly thought it was a joke, and she screamed at me that I ruined her effing wedding and to get the F out. I flat out told her she was crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's accurate. And left, not wanting to fight anymore and not knowing how to deal with what happened. I grabbed my wedding gift to them on the way out. That's the set. My phone has been flooded with texts, voicemails, and social media notifications from her friends, and her family about what an a-hole I am. But honestly, I don't see what I did wrong. Am I really the a-hole here? Edit. Quite a few people have said you're the a-hole because you should know not to wear white to a wedding. And I just want to clarify that I brought this point up to Charlotte more than once while asking if she was sure, and she insisted I wear the dress. She said I would look lovely, and she wanted me to look my best for her wedding because she wanted very nice pictures and videos. I would not have worn this dress if she not assured me multiple times that it was what she wanted. Edit 2, someone made a comment below, if the bride is wearing white, I should at least be prepared for the weird glances. The bride didn't even wear white. This was another non-traditional thing she did. She wore blue. Oh, what the This is super weird, dude. Like, you're like, what? Okay, no, this is like the most insanely manipulative thing I've ever heard of. Like, it's like... What? Okay. Settle down. To me, you're not the a-hole, but I guess let's hear some more context.
Some more opinions.
She told me it was a friendship test. Yep, she tested whether or not she was your friend, and guess what? She's not.
Facts.
When someone is mad at you because they lied to you and you believe them, that person is the a-hole, regardless of what conventions exist in the broader culture about colors of dresses. Your friend lied to your face and embarrassed you in public just to see if she could, not the a-hole. Yeah. Like, what about you? This is super embarrassing for you. I'm sure that you wouldn't have worn that if she didn't ask you to. What? What's that I smell? A bridezilla. A hellazilla. You lose your veil, okay, until I get you a new one. Yes, exactly. Someone who wants to test your friendship by giving bad advice and then being angry when you follow it is not someone to be friends with. It wasn't even advice. It was basically the bride picked out a dress that Opie had in the no pile. She told her what to wear down to the shoes. Opie just abided by the bride's wishes. How was she supposed to know? Not to mention the fact that it's a no-win situation. Either Opie does what the friend asks and runs the risk of making the friend mad for wearing the white dress, or Opie doesn't do what the friend asks and runs the risk of making the friend mad for not doing what she asked. This is like super messed up, man. Like, I really hope that you have assessed the situation and realized that this person really isn't your friend. And also, like, super, I know I say things like, you know, maturity is overrated, but this is like really high school, like bullying, like the mean girl is like purposefully embarrassing you in front of everybody that she knows, kind of a-hole. I don't like it. You're not the a-hole, my dear, and get better friends. Bride goes bridezilla on bridesmaid for spilling wine on her wedding dress, asks if she's the a-hole. Okay. I, 27 female, got married a month ago. My dress was this long lacy gown that my mom wore at her wedding. My mom passed away about 2 years ago. Oh, yeah. All right. I've already made a decision. Because the dress was so important to me, I had a big plan to keep it safe from any damages. I would only wear the dress at the wedding itself, and I would switch to a more casual dress for the reception. When I was wearing the dress, I wouldn't eat or drink anything except water, and I would stay inside at all times. I promise I'm not usually this crazy about cleanliness, but this was my mom's dress, and the thought of it being damaged broke my heart. But I also knew I wanted to wear it when I got married to have a piece of her with me. She adored this dress and always dreamed I would wear it. Oh, that's so, oh God, you're breaking my heart. Oh, my heart is broken for you. My bridesmaids knew very well about my particularities with this dress. I had a room above the venue where I was getting ready. My dress was hanging in a safe place in the room. On the day of the wedding, I went down to check something for the wedding, leaving my bridesmaids in the room. Here's what happened as they told it to me. Oh my God. They opened a bottle of Pinot Noir, my favorite, as a celebration. They poured themselves a glass and began to walk around checking out the room. One of my bridesmaids, Anna, wanted to get a closer look at my dress. She got really close to it. She started to touch the lace. Somehow, her hand holding the wine glass slipped and wine spilled all over the bottom of the dress. Bro, hell no. When I came upstairs, they told me what happened and I started sobbing. My maid of honor called several professional cleaners and they said there was no way they could get the dress in shape for the wedding. They told us ways to save the dress until we could get it to them, so my maid of honor started doing that. After the call, I became extremely angry. I asked Anna what the hell she was doing holding red wine so close to my dress when she knew how careful I was being. She dismissed it and said it wasn't such a big deal because I was planning to wear the dress, so it could have gotten damaged that way too. Hell no! Ugh. You know what I hate? I hate it when you express a boundary with a friend and you call them out for doing something explicitly wrong to you, and instead of listening to you and apologizing like a normal freaking person, they somehow make it your fault. I couldn't believe she said that. I called her thoughtless and careless and stupid.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh?
I told her she was no longer part of the wedding and that I wanted her to leave. She left and neither of us has reached out to the other one since. Dude, I cannot. I literally cannot. I got married in the dress I had planned to wear for the reception. Oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks so much. I was heartbroken to not be wearing my mom's dress. After my wedding, my bridesmaids joked that I was a bridezilla for kicking Anna out after she made an honest mistake. No, all of them. They're fired. All of them are fired! I absolutely do not think I'm the a-hole or a bridezilla because Anna's reaction was so horrible and insincere, but I wanted to get the story off my chest and ask some people who might be more impartial. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely freaking not. Absolutely not. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. All I know is there would have been blood. Not blood, but definitely a lot of screaming. I just can't believe that. I cannot believe that everyone ganged up on you after something so important to you. Honestly, in the future, it's like no dark liquor anywhere near anything important. I've got a room in my house. I like to have parties. I have a rule. No dark liquor or anything colored liquor, only vodka soda or only something soda, nothing with a color in that room because everything is white. Not saying it's your fault, but like, and also, they opened a bottle of wine without you? Your favorite bottle of wine, they opened it without you and then used that wine to spill on the dress. All sorts of wrong in here. I understand it was an honest mistake, but like the reaction should have been, I'm so sorry. I will do whatever I can to fix this. Like, apologize when it's an honest mistake. You still have to apologize even if it's a mistake. Like, why? Why would you wander around with a glass of wine next to a white wedding dress that had such extreme sentimental value? Not the a-hole. Couldn't they have waited? Couldn't they have waited to have wine? This is what I'm saying. Why are they having wine without you? They opened your bottle of wine and then spilled it on your dress? Hell no. In my opinion, even if the dress wasn't sentimental because of your mom, the fact that it's your wedding dress automatically makes it VIP. It doesn't seem bridezilla or OTT to take precautions to not have big ugly stains on your wedding dress. And the fact that Anna didn't seem sorry makes me feel like she deserved to be kicked out. Hell yeah, she did. Even if they couldn't have waited for the wine, why are they running around the room with the glasses in hand? Are you telling me there wasn't a single table for them to put the glasses on? And even a wedding dress costs a ton of money and it's supposed to be worn for exactly this one moment in your life. OP was lucky to have a spare dress, but what would someone do if they didn't have any? Marry in jeans and a baggy shirt? Well, I hope my future wedding party will have enough senses in their brain to not mess with white stuff. Too much wine, that's why. Probably more than one bottle, or maybe one bottle per person on an empty stomach. Okay, so you're hammered. All the more reason to stay the away from the dress. I feel like it sounds like one or more of the bridesmaids decided to try the dress on. Oh, that's an interesting take. Whilst drinking and spilt some wine on this, and that's more likely to cover that. I mean, it makes sense as to why they ganged up on you because they were partially at fault. But it could have just been that they were all supposed to be careful around the dress and they know that they did something wrong. You're more charitable than I am. I was thinking deliberate act of sabotage. Well, I mean, same here, especially because she didn't apologize. She did this on purpose. This is how I feel when, like, if I express a boundary, which isn't often. I don't like to express boundaries all the time. I only do it when absolutely necessary because I know that sometimes people get super defensive. But generally, if you get really defensive when someone expresses a boundary and you've clearly done something wrong, I feel like they're right about you.
Am I the a-hole for not wanting to get my girlfriend an expensive engagement ring? Go on. I, 26 male, have been with my girlfriend, 26 female, for 4 years, and we've recently been talking more and more about marriage. Although my girlfriend grew up relatively well off, for the time I've known her, she's been pretty low maintenance. She's never cared about designer brands, rarely buys new clothes, and the jewelry she owns was gifted to her. I have a decent job now, $80,000 a year, and I've been saving for a while. But growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money.
You must be a weasel.
My girlfriend and I have always seemed to be on the same page when it comes to saving money. I assumed she would be fine with a more affordable ring. When I started looking into rings, I discovered moissanite rings, which look similar to diamond rings but are much more affordable. I was looking at rings in the $1,500 to $1,800 range. To be fair, I have seen moissanite rings that are stunning. They look so much like diamonds and they're very beautiful. Moissanite rings are actually a lot more ethical than diamond rings. When I mentioned this to her, she insisted she wanted a real diamond ring and sent me links to a bunch of diamond rings that she liked. The prices ranged from $6,500 to $10,000.
I want a divorce.
I told her that I wasn't willing to spend that much. She seemed genuinely mad and said it wasn't that expensive. We got into a pretty big argument about it. I told her that it was ridiculous to ask me to spend that much, and I thought she was more reasonable than that. The question is though, can you afford it? From the sounds of it, it does sound like you can afford it. You just maybe don't consider an engagement ring to be an expense that you're willing to make. She said I was being cheap and that I could afford it, and that I was basically saying she wasn't worth it. I told her no one is worth a $10,000 ring.
Very poor choice of words.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know. Some people care, some people don't, but it seems like your girlfriend cares. Eventually, my girlfriend said she didn't care and that I should get whatever ring that I want, but she's clearly still mad, and I know this is going to be an ongoing argument. I'm a bit frustrated because this seems out of left field. I've always known marriage is super important to her, but I didn't realize she would insist on a diamond ring. So I talked to my older sister about it, who, despite agreeing diamond rings were stupidly priced, sided with my girlfriend and said if I could afford it, she doesn't see the big deal. I feel like it's not necessarily about the ring, it's because you don't feel like she's worth the money. She added that my girlfriend has done so much for me and I was being an a-hole about this. Oh, okay, what has she done for you? What my sister means by my girlfriend doing so much for me is that she was really supportive when I was in a serious car accident 4 years ago. I broke multiple bones and required a few surgeries. Although where I live, most healthcare is covered, I was unable to work for a while and I had expenses I wasn't able to pay. This is interesting. I see what this is really about. She was there for you and she covered expenses for you because she's your girlfriend. And not that anybody's like keeping tabs on stuff like this.
But we are.
But like, why did she feel like no expense could be spared to make sure that you were healthy and that you got the care that you need when it came to her? But now that she wants something, I feel like she deserves that. Like the fact that you said nobody's worth a $10,000 ring. I don't know, man. It kind of sounds like she's worth that $10,000 ring. I've been dating my girlfriend for only 6 months at the time and she was really there for me.
Bro.
What? I couldn't pay my rent, so she let me move in with her for free and helped pay for a few expenses for physical therapy I needed. How much does that cost exactly? Because it kind of sounds like if you got her that ring, y'all would be even. She also helped me get a job with her uncle, who was the VP of an insurance company. Oh, okay.
Are you for real?
She literally... Oh my God. Whoa, dude. Whoa, 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 whoa. It was an entry-level position and I had a business degree, so it's not like I was unqualified. Yeah, but she helped you get the job. Obviously, I've thanked her for all she did, but it's not something we talk about much. I don't think I'm obligated to buy an expensive ring because she helped me out a few years ago. Like, no, you're not obligated, but you should feel like some sense of like, this girl has done so much for me. I feel like if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be as healthy as I am today. I wouldn't even have the job that I have if it weren't for her. And you don't think that she's worth that much? But if my own sister said this, I'm guessing my girlfriend must feel this way as well. Am I the a-hole here? It sounds like to me, this girl is incredibly selfless. She's low maintenance. She hasn't asked for much from you. She probably lets you split 50-50. Realistically, this sounds like a girl that's like, no, babe, let's go 50-50. Fair enough. Lots of people feel that way. It's all good. But this is the one thing that she wants. I don't know, man. She sounds like she's too good for you, and I would seriously rethink it. You're the a-hole in my opinion, but like, let's see what Reddit had to say.
A-hole.
You're the a-hole. She's typically low maintenance and agreeable. She supported you and stepped up when you needed her without complaint, period. And she barely knew you as well. 6 months into the relationship and she's giving you wifey treatment. She had asked for this one thing you find unreasonable but can't afford. It's something that she's gonna wear every day for the rest of her life.
Being optimistic?
When you think about like girl math, okay? I love me some girl math. You think about a $10,000 engagement ring, but it's like, let's think about how many days there are in a life. Roughly 79 years or 28,835 days. So I would say she's kind of been around for maybe 6,000 days on Earth. So 28,000 minus 6,000 is 22,000. I don't even know why I looked at the calculator for that. 22,000 divided by 10,000, $2.2 a day. I love girl math. Talk to her about it. Ask her to explain why it's so important to her without interrupting or arguing. That part is important. I mean, yeah, you can talk to her about it, but honestly, you sound kind of ungrateful. When it's your turn, tell her why you think it's too much. Focus on how you could use that money together, not just on it being wasteful. That's fair. Just be like, a $10,000 ring is a lot. I would prefer to spend that amount of money on an amazing honeymoon together, on a house together. Is it just the ring that you find too expensive, or any expense that's $10,000? Why you find it wasteful, even though you can afford it, is what matters. No one is worth $10,000. Sounds a lot like, I don't love you that much in the heat of the moment. Yeah. Once you've both given real, understandable, calm reasons, try to find a compromise if you disagree. A diamond is important to her, so can you give her a budget you feel is responsible? Can you nudge that budget into an area that feels slightly uncomfortable to you? Neither of you may love the feeling of compromise, but that's what a healthy marriage takes. She's already shown you the rich or poor, sickness and in health part. Period. She's given you
wifey treatment, bro.
Now show her you can work with her to find solutions when you disagree. All right. I guess we could communicate and like find common ground. You should be jumping for joy to buy that woman whatever she wants. How much do you think she paid for you between your half of the rent and expenses and the money she spent on you after your accident? Because it sounds like she thought you were worth a good amount of money, but you made it clear that she's worth $1,600. I can't even believe I had to scroll down so far for this, not even for his half the rent. She saved him the entire rent cost, easily several $1,000s over time. You're the a-hole for your approach and bad attitude. Check out some pawn shops, online secondhand jewelry, or lab-grown diamonds. We saved a ton buying the stone and setting separately. I know a lot of people who bought the stone
Impossible.
and then designed the ring that they liked. And because they did that, rather than going directly to like a jewelry store, they saved a lot of money. Let's also not forget that it sounds like she's the reason that he's currently making $80K a year in the first place. I personally think that she's too good for you, but you gotta check yourself and humble yourself, because that girlfriend, she's worth a diamond, baby. You're the a-hole! Am I the a-hole for leaving in an Uber after my engagement party? My fiance and I got engaged a week ago. It was an absolute disaster. I never wanted a party, but my fiance's mom insisted and wanted to have the engagement party at a restaurant that is expensive to me, and made my fiance pull out his savings account to buy a house just so she could show herself off to the family. She picked a restaurant of her choice, invited her whole family where I was only allowed to invite my mom and dad. She didn't even order meals until later because she was arguing about how her favorites weren't on the menu, but she picked the restaurant. Wasn't that her choice?
The world is very strange.
She lied to my parents about the food, said in her invitation, join us in celebrating Jake and Sarah's engagement with desserts and champagne only.
You cheap bastard.
She said no kids, but brought sister-in-law's kids with her. She sat in the middle next to my fiance, and they were both having a toast without me? Okay, no. That's not your engagement party, sweet pea. The couple sits together. I was feeling so uncomfortable and super pissed that I couldn't even handle it. My parents were the first to leave. They were upset. Can't blame them. It was awful. We were about to leave. My mother-in-law wanted us to give her a ride home because brother-in-law left with his cousin. My fiance said sure, and next thing I knew, she got into the passenger seat. Sister-in-law tagged along and stuffed her kids in the back where I was supposed to sit. Oh, jeez. I found this so damn inappropriate and humiliating. I asked my fiance if he was serious. I told him I belonged in the passenger seat, but mother-in-law said I was being disrespectful. Oh, brother. And refused to sit in the back and threw some comments at me. Oh, hell no. You get in the trunk, mama. You get right back in there in the trunk in the boot. I lost it. I called an Uber and told them to go. My fiance lashed out and called me crazy and told me to get in the car because I was embarrassing him. You're embarrassing yourself. You want to go get married to your mother then? Go get married. Go get married to your mother. Is that what you want? We yelled at each other. He refused to leave. I got in my Uber as they watched and went to my parents, cried my eyes out, and refused to answer my phone to spare myself all the shaming. It was awful. Awful. So awful that I regret not leaving early. I hate them all. They're treating me like trash and I've had it. I'm 24 and my fiance is 27. And to clarify, she took some of our savings for a new house and spent it on the party. Hell no! I'm really not a fan of your fiance. I don't love this for you, babes. What is he seriously thinking? That he's gonna get married to his mom? An engagement is not about the mother of the groom and the groom. It's about the couple. Not the a-hole. Why would you marry someone that allows his family to treat you this way? Sounds like he's more interested in a relationship with his mother. Go marry mommy.
Don't give me that look.
Still better to find out now than after the marriage, or even worse after having kids. He won't treat you better, and imagine having to raise your kids how your mother-in-law thinks is right. Every party, every decision, basically every day will be a war. Run fast, run far. Bye-bye. Oh, OP responds, she's making my life miserable, absolutely miserable. She didn't even let me add to her guest list. Her guest list? It's not her party. Nor have a say in which food to pick. The choices were very limited for me because I don't eat meat. It makes my stomach upset, but she totally disregarded this and went with what she chose. Oh, baby girl. You know, it is true that when you get married, you do kind of marry the family. So you really need to make sure that you like the family. There's always going to be ups and downs. You're not always going to get along. It's fine. But I feel like this is a glimpse of what your marriage is going to look like, and you will always come second to his mother. Leave now. Your fiance obviously doesn't care about you, and this will be the story of your life. Do you want a wedding with only mother-in-law's friends and family? Her choice of venue, menu, colors. I can see her cutting in on the cake cutting, first dance, everything. She sounds horrible, and your fiance's a douche for not standing up for you. You're not the a-hole, my dear. Go with your gut. If it sounds like he wants to marry his mother instead of you, run far, far away. Am I the a-hole for breaking my sister's engagement? My, male 37, sister, female 29, recently got engaged to the love of her life. I'll call him Derek, male 34. They've been dating for about a year and a half, and we, the family, have gotten to know Derek since the beginning of this year. We all love Derek, especially my dad and I. We watch F1 every weekend together with the rest of our friends.
Good job!
The engagement was announced about 3 weeks ago. We were all obviously excited. 2 weeks ago at the last GP, I was talking to Derek at some point, and the reason I might be an a-hole is my mind slipped, and I said something along the lines of, it's great that you found someone you love so much you would abandon having children. Uh-oh, did he not know that? Sadly, my sister had to fight a battle with ovarian cancer when she was 16 to 17, which resulted in the surgical removal of her ovaries and, from what I understand, part of her uterus. Okay, so she also didn't tell her fiance this, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's not good. Now, I didn't think much about my comment, but turns out she never discussed this with him. It was like I dropped a nuclear bomb of information. But that's also kind of like a weird thing to say. It's great you found someone you love so much you would abandon having children. Like that. That is such like a backhanded compliment. I'm sorry. Does anybody else really not like that? He said it now made sense why she always avoided discussing children. Needless to say, the engagement broke and they have now separated.
That escalated quickly.
And in the eyes of my sister and mother, I'm the a-hole who separated my sister from the love of her life. That's something that you should say. You should definitely be having that discussion with someone before you get engaged, because those are things that are really important to a marriage. You have to align on that value. Okay, if you both want kids, if you both don't want kids, that needs to be assessed, because if one wants kids and one doesn't, that's going to constantly come between you two. That definitely should have been discussed prior to getting engaged. I also don't really like the way that you said this. That sounds weird to me. That is so backhanded and passive aggressive. I really don't like that. To me, I feel like you're all in the wrong here. I feel like that engagement or marriage probably would have ended anyway. Maybe it isn't even necessarily about the fact that she can't have kids. She can't really help that. It's about the hiding the fact that she can't have kids. It's not lying, but it isn't being entirely forthcoming about something very important. Everyone sucks. Obviously, your sister shouldn't have lied and should be honest with him, so it's her fault the engagement ended, but also what a shitty thing to say to someone. Like, not having children is some huge burden that you and your sister needed to do more to justify him marrying her because of her ovarian cancer. Literally, like, it's just like, that's great that you're okay with not having kids. I could never. That's the energy that statement is giving. My issue is, even though she physically can't have kids, there are other ways to have a family, like surrogacy and adoption. It's dumb and unkind. Yeah, seriously, it's like you're putting her like entire worth on the ability that she can't have kids over something. She literally had cancer, bro. Your sister had cancer. Update. It appears that there's been a general consensus that everyone, meaning my sister and I, are assholes. Correct. You all suck in this situation.
Actually, every time.
And I, in retrospective, cannot disagree. I'm an a-hole for disclosing my sister's medical information behind her back. She's an a-hole for not discussing such an important medical history with her significant other. I've sent my sister a long apology letter. That's all you can do at this point. She hasn't replied yet, but she will. I know her well. I just need to give her some space. As for those calling me a misogynist, F off. Perhaps my choice of words in the past was wrong because English is my second language. I also meant biological children, but I don't for a second believe I think less of my sister as a woman because she can't bear children. Okay, well, I'll give you that. Maybe you just really couldn't find the right words to say it. When it comes to like having kids, I just feel like everybody needs to stop pushing it on people and talking about it. And
Oh, when you having babies? Oh, kiss her next.
it's just like, you don't know what's going on with my ovaries. You don't know what's happening down here. It's just that she's been through so much suffering and heartbreak because of men who did mistreat her due to her medical condition. I would know I was the one who would support her emotionally, not our busy parents. I was genuinely happy because I mistakenly thought she found someone who accepts her for who she is, okay? As a result, I made a comment during a conversation and made an a-hole of myself. And I cannot blame her so much for lying either. This was her longest lasting relationship. I guess she was terrified of the potential consequences. Okay, that's fair. If men kind of kept leaving me over something like this, I would not be as forthcoming with the truth as I could be, I guess. But still, if he's the right one, it wouldn't matter. As for Derek, I talked to him. We're going to hang out this weekend. We made these plans in advance. I'll be letting a lot of people down. That's not who I am. I'll talk more in detail with him. At worst, there will be some closure. At most, maybe something can be mended. His primary complaint was my sister withholding something so important and her attitude when confronted. He said he didn't think much about kids prior, and anytime he'd mention it to my sister, she'd answer with something like, "We'll see." So he didn't want to pry into something that made her uncomfortable. He says he needs some space from my sister and to rethink and reevaluate how he envisions his future. That's all. Thank you to those who were civil for their insightful comments. I hope y'all can find a way to mend this. I hope that y'all can move on from this. This just sounds like a hell of a clusterfuck, honestly.
Am I the a-hole for kicking out one of my bridesmaids for showing up in the wrong dress? Okay. My 23 female wedding was back on Saturday, December 31st, and I'm still getting backlash from this. So I want to know if this was an a-hole move. In the country I live in, it's currently winter and we get a fair amount of snow. So my wedding was a winter themed wedding. The color theme was forest green and gold. My dress was obviously white, and I chose the color of my bridesmaids' dresses to be forest green as well. My maid of honor's dress was black, and everyone was to wear gold accessories. I have this friend, we'll call her Kat, that I asked to be one of my bridesmaids. When we went dress shopping, I told them the color that I was going for, and Kat immediately expressed that she thought forest green was a bad choice. Well, this is the thing, Kat. It's not really your choice, is it?
Shut up. Shut up.
For those that need a color reference, this is forest green. I actually think that's a great color. I personally look great in forest green. She said she thinks it's not a flattering color. For who?
Whom?
For her? And thought I should choose something different and more girly. I said no because my wedding was winter themed and I thought the color would go perfect with the theme. She suggested a pink, a blue, even a red. Okay, but pink is not really synonymous with winter. Blue, not so much either. And red, it just reminds me of Christmas. I said no, but thanks for your opinion. She found out my maid of honor's dress was black and asked if she could wear black too.
Does it come in black?
No, you're not the maid of honor. That's why she's wearing black. I said no, only my maid of honor is wearing black. I paid for all the dresses. If you paid for all the dresses, how does she show up in a different dress? Hang on. Fast forward to the wedding day. Everyone's getting their hair and makeup done and Kat shows up 30 minutes late holding a bag that looked like it had a dress inside.
Open the bag, please.
I asked her what this was for. She told me it was for later on at the reception if she got uncomfortable and wanted to change after pictures. I was like, okay.
That's cool.
So fast forward, we're all getting dressed and walking down the stairs because the ceremony is beginning in 30 minutes and we're going to take pictures before. Kat is the last person to come down and she's wearing a black dress. Oh, hell no. And I guess that she also waited until the very, very last second because then there would be less time for her to go and change and she would force you into the decision.
What a manipulative bitch.
At the time, I was preoccupied taking pictures with my parents, but my maid of honor came over to me and made me aware of the situation. For someone that wants to be dressed like the maid of honor, she sure as hell is not acting like one. Ironic, really. I confronted Kat and asked her what was going on. She said she hates her bridesmaid's dress, as the color is ugly and makes her look gross.
I think I'm ugly.
So she's wearing black. It's not your wedding. It's not your choice. If you're in the wedding party, you can't just wear whatever you want. Honestly, shit like this just makes me not want to have a wedding party. I don't want to deal with the drama. I told her, please go back and change. She refused and started walking away from me. What? I said I'm gonna ask her one more time and if she doesn't oblige, I'm calling security and kicking her out. She's being a baby about it. Like, who cares? It's a dress that you have to wear for like an hour, and then she was totally fine with you changing out of it. It's not that serious. She started yelling at me to fuck off. Hell no. So I called security and asked them to please escort her out. She started making a big scene, yelling about how I'm such a B-word and that I can't force her to wear anything and that I'm a horrible, inconsiderate friend. Wow. The wedding went on and was truly amazing. Ever since the wedding, Kat has been blowing up my phone with texts saying some really nasty things and asking for the money back she spent on the black dress. What? The black dress you told her not to wear?
Yes.
Since it was a waste and she didn't get to wear it. Oh, the Delulu is strong with this one. I had to block her number. Some of my other bridesmaids have been giving me shit, saying that it was a little harsh kicking her out and embarrassing her like that, and that maybe I should give her the money back. No, absolutely not. Am I the a-hole for kicking her out? I mean, if she didn't act like a total psycho, then like, I would say that you were being a bit of an a-hole. I also find it very funny when people say you're embarrassing me when they're doing the embarrassing. In fact, if you walk down that aisle wearing a dress you weren't supposed to be wearing, everyone would be like, what is she doing? Not the a-hole, she embarrassed herself. She agreed to wear the dress you picked out and then deceitfully planned to change at the last moment in the hope that you just let her get away with it. Period. She lied to your face.
Oh, man.
Was it worth losing a friend over wearing a forest-colored green dress? She knew that you would tell her no. Think of being in a wedding party like playing a part in a play or a ballet or something. That's a good point. You are kind of playing a part. You don't get to just wear whatever the hell you want. You get cast as a bridesmaid, so you're wearing the costume that the artistic director has picked out for the bridesmaids to wear. That's a good way of thinking about it, honestly. I like that. If you don't want to wear the costume, don't be in the show. This is about the bride. You're supposed to be showing up for her. You can't just show up on opening night and say, I didn't like your costume choices, so I'm gonna wear the same costume as the other character instead. I like that. That is a great analogy. She's got some main character syndrome, to be fair. You are not the a-hole, my dear. Get new friends. Would I be the a-hole if I go on vacation instead of my brother's wedding?
Dude, what are you doing?
My brother Tom, 36 male, and I, 26 female, have never really had a solid relationship. Due to our age gap, we didn't spend much time, and by the time I was old enough to develop a personality, he was moved out of the house. For the last 2 years, my brother and his fiancée Sarah, 32 female, have been planning their wedding, and it's coming up in September. I was asked to be a bridesmaid. I figured I was only asked as a courtesy since I'm her soon-to-be sister-in-law, but I still took it seriously. I've been a bridesmaid for the last 2 years. Just a few weeks ago, I managed to save up to buy the $800 bridesmaid's dress. Overall, in the last 2 years, between group outings to parties, dinners, lunches, clothes, etc., I spent thousands of dollars.
I'm poor now.
Being in the wedding party is no joke. If someone asks you to be in their wedding party, do not agree unless you are prepared to spend money and time. Eventually, all the girls in the wedding and I became extremely close, and I started to get hyped for the wedding. Sarah recently got close with her brother's wife, Becky. Last week, she dropped the ball on me that she no longer wants me to be a bridesmaid, bitch, and that she would prefer if Becky take my place. Okay, is she gonna pay you back for all the money that you spent on it?
No.
It broke my heart a little, but it's her wedding and it's not my place to tell her how to run it, so I said it was fine. Yesterday, I went to my brother's house to pick up the bridesmaid's dress and was going to see if I could return it since it was within the time frame. Sarah was completely appalled and said that Becky was going to wear it since she and I are the same size. Is Becky gonna pay you for the dress? I said that would be fine, but they would have to pay me the $800 for it. Sarah said that Becky couldn't afford it. I should just be nice and let her use it and said that I could keep it after the wedding.
Are you tripping?
I explained that I'm not just giving away the dress and I'm not going to use it after the wedding. After some bickering back and forth, I just ended up taking it and leaving. My brother and Sarah tried to compromise with me and say that I could be the assistant flower girl, and I felt offended at the offer. Isn't a flower girl supposed to be like a child? After I said no, they then said that Becky could give me $250 for it. Again, no, and I returned the dress and got a full refund, as you should, bestie. I told them I understand it's their wedding, but they're being extremely disrespectful to me and I don't need to deal with it, and I'm not going to the wedding. You don't need to be there. You also have to get that gift. Today, my coworker said she has an extra round-trip plane ticket to go to Miami. Oh, Miami. Love that for you. Do it. Do it. She said she'll sell it to me for half price. Plus, I would have to pay for half the hotel and I can go hang out with her in Florida.
Want to get in?
Sounds fun, babe. Go do that. The only downside is I'll be in Florida for the week of my brother's wedding. So will I be the a-hole if I just go party in Miami instead of going to my brother's wedding? I feel like you are punishing your brother as as well as your future sister-in-law. I understand you missing a wedding where someone treated you badly, but did your brother treat you badly? The other thing too is like, are we sure that this marriage will even last? Not the a-hole, go to Miami. A wedding is not an event where a soon-to-be sister-in-law and your own brother crap all over you and smile and take it. A 26-year-old assistant flower girl, really, how insulting. OP, one of the nice things about declining an invitation is that you need to not give a gift. There you go, no more money spent. A card of congratulations is all etiquette requires, and I think you've already overspent both literally and emotionally on this wedding. I know you guys aren't close, but like, I think it would be like, you know, good for you to be there. However, I would much rather go to Miami than someone's wedding where I'm not wanted. You're not the a-hole, my dear. Am I the a-hole for tricking my parents into being on time for my wedding? My male 33 parents are late for everything. Like everything.
You know what I mean?
Both my sisters and myself have been disappointed so many times. How late we talking? 10, 20 minutes, or are we talking like an hour?
It's been 84 years.
Graduation ceremonies, birthday parties, even my father's retirement dinner. Wait, they're late for their own parties? It is completely my mother's fault. She's a wonderful mother and I love her dearly. She just does not understand the concept of punctuality. I've seen her talking to her sister on the phone and reminded her that she needed to be at my baby sister's dance recital. She waved me off and arrived after my sister had danced. We are all used to it. My dad is just done trying to get her to be on time for anything. He should just leave without her. My now wife, female 28, told me in no uncertain terms that if my mother was late to our wedding, she would do terrible things to me. I like her already. She was only half joking, but she was a witness to my mom and dad arriving halfway through my cousin's quinceanera. I hope I said that right. So here's what I did. It is completely on me. My wife was not involved. If there was a move, it was completely mine. Oh, did you tell them to show up like 2 hours before they were supposed to? I do that too, and guess what? They're still fucking late. When we're getting samples for the wedding, I talked to the printer and had one special invitation printed with the time on it, and it stated being 1 hour earlier than the actual start time of the ceremony. Ooh. Love that. My mother was beside herself apparently when they left the house and thought they were going to miss the wedding. Since she was a part of it with her and my mother-in-law lighting the candles, we would use to light the unity candle and stuff. When she arrived and noticed other people were also just arriving and parking, she was so relieved that we were starting late and she just went with it. The ceremony went off beautifully, and so did the wedding pictures and the reception. The problem came last Sunday. My parents came over for a big family dinner and we didn't bother starting the grill until they showed up. She asked why everyone wasn't eating and we just said we knew we would be waiting for them since they're always late. She said that she was not always late and had been on time for my wedding. No. She hadn't been. They arrived 45 minutes after the time on their invitation. Wow. Imagine being 45 minutes late to your own son's wedding. Like, you would have missed it. My idiot cousin John, real name because it's common and he deserves people to know he's adult, snorted at her statement. A few other people giggled or smiled at this. And she picked up and asked what was so funny. I came clean and told her about the special invitation. She's pissed at me for not trusting her and making her look foolish in front of everyone. If my cousin had just controlled himself, she never would have known. Yeah, that's a good point. Your cousin should have just shut the fuck up, honestly. However, now this kind of trick that you got going on, the jig is up. She's gonna question every time. It's gonna be like, oh, okay, well that's, you know, an hour earlier than it's supposed to be. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. How can she complain? If you had sent her an invite with the real time, she would have been 45 minutes late. That's what I'm saying. She should appreciate the fact that you wanted her to be there enough that you took the time to make her a special invite to ensure she arrived on time. She should just laugh at it. Why is she getting so defensive? At the end of the day, you wanted her to be there on time. You didn't want her to miss it. I don't know why she's upset. Except maybe I think that she probably knows that she should have been on time in the first place. You're not the a-hole, my dear. And I'm gonna use that. Subscribe!